and a bag on his shoulder, Itoban and the Capra. So I am Patsy of India. The Indians can ship on this slavery, bind together to resist in unity. There was no more mother Africa, no more mother India, just mother Trinidad. My Bahuta Japland with sugar cane, down in the Garoni plain, Ramlog and Bastel percussion.
All right, everybody. So we are continuing our discussion in the aftermath of Monday's general election. We're looking at the youth perspective now, and we do have in studio this morning human rights advocate Rudolph Hanamji. Rudolph, thank you very much for coming this morning.
And to all your viewers.
Of course,
thank you for having me.
It's always a good good opportunity to speak with you and have you here. Rudolph, I want to speak a little bit about the election results, right?
Certainly.
And I would have started the program this morning speaking about these results. So the UNC would have amassed 334,874 votes, the PNM 220,160. The total is 617,712.
Which is apparently 54%.
Out of a population of 1.3, 1.4.
According to the EBC.
What about the 700,000?
Well, as we were talking before the program, if you go back in time, we have moved from almost 70% voter turnout to 54%. And each election, you're seeing a reduction. And that's why one of the reasons I created this NGO, our Portal for Accountability and Representation of Trinidad and Tobago, our part.
Yes.
Because, Marlon, when you look at the data, unfortunately, it's mainly younger and first-time voters that are choosing to opt out. They are very apathetic. And of course, you know, I'm on my latter years in the youth category. But I think millennials like myself, we have to make space for the younger ones coming up. We have to use our privileges and our platforms to encourage them to be more involved, because that 54% is worrying. It should tell all the major parties and even the younger ones emerging that they are not attracting a broader base. If you look at San Juan Barataria, for example, the preliminary results show that the winner received less votes, even though the PNM overall also received less votes. But you can't use that to say that I am, you know, it's almost like a Pyrrhic victory.
Yes. Yeah. So just getting back to the stats, it is the, according to my colleague Jewel Brown, who gave us that report earlier, it's the second lowest voter turnout. All right. What you think that has been missing that the young people want to hear?
First and foremost, a clear vision for the country. And we're not talking about a document entitled Vision 20 anything. Leadership in our country, political leadership in particular, has, Marlon, for many years been bereft of a unifying vision. If you go back to even the Pandey and the Manning administrations, it was only after, unfortunately, that people they started to see what the vision could have been like. And people talk about it now when they refer to those men long after they passed away. Why is it so hard for political leaders to truly craft an aspirational, inspirational message? And that's why the brain drain, some experts say it's 70%. Many families are encouraging their young people to leave our shores to seek a better life elsewhere. Many of my younger staff in the corporate sector, when I was there, that was their aim, Alan. So there is no connection. There's a very loose connective tissue with their nation. And those that cannot leave, the ones that are left here, they are underemployed. They feel that political parties use them for public relations activities. I could tell you from my own experiences when I was actively involved in politics that many times it became that. It was a photo opportunity, but young people were not genuinely included. And that's why our part, all along during the election cycle, we ran a project called We the Youth. And we brought young leaders in different sectors forward to comment on the policies on the platforms. And the consensus from these persons was simply that they were not hearing a genuine, innovative approach to their future. Because remember, they are the ones that are inheriting from us in the next 5 to 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
So that's the issue. There's an apathy because of that disconnect.
And you know, Rudolph, I mentioned at the beginning of the program this morning, I was asking my viewers and I was asking myself, but who among the politicians is inspiring the next generation? When was the last time you heard a young person say, I want to be prime minister? I want to be the opposition leader. I want to be a senator. That's
an excellent question, because when we ran the RepTT campaign leading up to the elections, which involved an awareness campaign on social media to engage young people, especially first-time voters, the analysis, the data that came back to us was exactly that most of them were not interested in involving themselves in politics, far less for entering politics and taking up leadership space. Now, I hasten to add that across the political party agendas and across the platforms, you did see some younger faces. You saw names that you didn't hear before.
Yes.
And many of them have quite interesting qualifications and backgrounds. So in some regard, the parties were able to attract candidates. But even those candidates, and perhaps it has to do with how they campaign,
yes,
those candidates did not translate into attracting that broader youth base. Maybe it's a function of the time. And again, that's why we're calling for fixed election dates. This administration coming in had promised that in 2010. We can't forget the former promises and only focus on the new ones.
Yeah.
When you have fixed election dates, you can have a better engagement of the population and more time for persons to attract that interest. But you're right, I think younger people don't see politics because remember, the elders also, why do we say that you deserve the government you get? Mm-hmm. That saying is about the fact that some of us don't want to get involved because we say we don't want to be in nasty politics. But if more good people don't get involved,
right,
then the scales don't rebalance.
Yeah. And I think that the political parties, mainly the main political parties, will tell you this morning, well, yes, if you looked at the crowd, you would see a lot of young people. Yes, but it doesn't change the fact, as the numbers that we would have stated this morning, 800,000 people, and among them these numbers would be young people. To me, the majority of people and the young people, they're just not coming out. So how do we make this politics thing more palatable? Is it because that people feel, and there's this perception that, politicians make promises but never go through with the promises are never realized? So is it frustration? Is it disappointment from the politician?
So both main parties promised inclusion and they centered much of their messaging around certain segments. If you compare the campaigns as we did, you would see they looked at elderly citizens. They used these words, young people, the public servants. Petrotrin was an issue, the energy sector. So the incoming administration, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, over the years, she has owned this role as mother of the nation. She's actually used that terminology. Mm-hmm. So if you're the mother of the nation coming in and you have surrounded yourself with younger people, then what we are calling for is an intentionality behind your placements in public roles. There are over 3,000 state appointments that need to be made at state board levels and other commissions, etc. A call should be made for young people to come forward, submit your CVs, and participate in that process because it will help with succession planning, innovation, mindset, energy, and knowledge transfer, because we don't want to throw the elders out with the bathwater, but we need to have that complementary knowledge transference and learning because each group learns from each other. So the intentionality, Marlon, will demonstrate a change. But in addition to that, we need to focus on the sectors and the areas that young people are drawn to.
Yes.
And this is not only in the formal professions, across the vocational gambit. Young people are interested in building a future. They want a different type of life. They have their own vision of Trinidad and Tobago. So engage them effectively, involve them. And that's why civil society groups like mine, Our Part, we are going to be launching an MP's report card and a manifesto tracker, but we're going to use a digital platform on social media, because that's, of course, where not just young people, but many people are engaging these days. We want to see the government transition quickly. There's no honeymoon period. There are several crises facing us, and each one of them is going to impact young people in the next 5 to 15 years, mainly because some of us are insulated. We will be on our way into retirement and out into the waving gallery.
Retirement.
And we sometimes we say, well, okay, we've done our part, but we have to create space, as I said, for them, that the generations that are coming next. But they also, it takes two hands to clap. They have to own their future and get involved.
Yeah. I think it is an area of concern. It has to be an area of concern because, as you would have noticed, a lot of young people are going into entrepreneurship, and some of them, they do have the perception that here's what, I have really built whatever I have here on my own steam, and no one ever really helped me with it, you know, and they prefer to stay on their computer or stay on their phone and just be in their own bubble, right, and space and do their work. So I think that there has to be, as you would have stated, there has to be that connection between the politics and the politician and the young person.
Yeah, and engage with them.
And not use the young person as window dressing.
No, we can't afford that anymore. And interestingly, I think younger people, there are enough people out there who want to get involved. Now, several administrations always provide different opportunities and avenues. I think implementation, communication falls down. So people don't always know what is available. The bureaucracy gets in the way. We have to make it easier for every segment of society to get involved and to utilize the state resources. So whether it's in entrepreneurship, as you were saying, but I want to add, sometimes the entrepreneurship is in the informal or the illegal sector. A lot of young people have been attracted, as we know, to using their intellect and their skills, but in the wrong spaces. How do we effectively draw them back? Make it more attractive for them to not go there in the first place, or to make a change and say, I'm going to transition my skills and use it for more productive capacity. And we have to have a lot of compassion, and that's why we need younger people in the government space, because they speak their language and they would be able to code switch and translate, and that is what allows the bridges to be formed. Yeah,
but they also, they must feel, young people, that they must feel that whatever they are saying, it is not falling on deaf ears.
Correct. We are planning over the next 100 days of the administration, 3 or 4 major national events that will engage young people. The idea would be that they will, as I said, track the manifesto promises, develop their own complementary ideas or pull ideas, because the country has invested millions of dollars, Marlon, in several development plans. I have been part of many of them. And they sit on shelves gathering dust. Younger people can take these things, use AI technology, reinforce them, upgrade them. And then, again, these people we are expecting the government will bring them in and say, there shouldn't be no complaint that there is insufficient human talent to get all the work done, because we have a lot of work to do and we need all hands on deck. The former administration did not deliver on their manifesto promises. This one should learn from that lesson, and as we say, take note that neither party attracted a broader base. In many cases, there were fallouts in the voting blocks. So we need to be intentional, and many people are willing to help. Let's see if Kamala Prasad-Bissessar is true about what she said on the campaign trail, which is, come, bring your talents, bring your expertise, and if they will be willing to allow the media and other groups to not only hold them accountable, but assist them in delivery.
Let's talk a little bit about our part.
Sure. So the Portal for Accountability and Representation of Trinidad and Tobago, as the name suggests, we started off just over a year ago with a few concerned citizens, and we had 6 key projects in mind. I'll just give you 3 of them. One was a center of excellence for the civil society groups, where we bring CBOs and NGOs in and assist them with technical expertise and funding. And it's called the Pansu Collective, so it's after the Panchayat Susu model.
Right.
Another initiative was the Spree think tank, again, bringing young people and elders who are experts in different fields together to work on national programs and projects and ideas.
Yeah.
And the other main project was actually called the Land of And, because Trinidad and Tobago, we don't have to be an either-or nation. We have adequate resources. We can figure out how to serve multiple interests at the same time. And that was a campaign to really reignite patriotism. So Our Part is a group that really is bringing people together, different interests, to have these national discourses. Many people for years have been calling for national debates.
Yes.
We don't want to wait until 3 weeks before the election to have this conversation. So from day one, as of yesterday, Our Part and other groups, we are going to continue this process of engaging the political players,
Right.
but bringing civil society, mobilizing young people in particular, to come forward and be part of the process. So it's not just about criticizing and calling out errors, but it's about finding solutions. So we act as a middle ground, if you will, and apolitical, political, because politics, Marlon, if you go back to the original meaning, is the business of the people.
Right.
When we think politics, we think party politics, but people have to get involved in the business of running the country.
Yeah. So I know that earlier you said that you all are going to provide some opportunities for young people to participate in. So is it that you all have a website that people can go up to and get
Thank
the
you for
information?
asking.
Yeah.
You can search us, Our Part with 2 T's, on all social media platforms, or ourpartwith2ts.org. And all of our information is there. We'll be placing, of course, in the public domain information around the events.
Yes.
Some of them will take the form of either a national youth conference on public policy. Others will take the form of workshops where you can come and learn about public policy. And we would like, when the ministers are installed,
Right.
to have them be part of these processes, again, creating opportunities for them to demonstrate genuine engagement with youth populations.
Yeah.
And we want to decentralize it. We're taking it out of Port of Spain. So we'll have some things in the city, but it's important to go into the other areas, into Tobago, in South, Central, because many times, Marlon, we focus on the city.
Yeah.
But there's so much inequity taking place, and there are bright young minds across the nation who could help us solve some of the problems that we have, but they have to be given that opportunity, and they have to be engaged, as I keep saying, genuinely engaged, not window dressing, as you said.
Yeah. All right, Rudolph. I just have about a minute again. Anything else you'd like to add before you leave us?
Simply put, pick up the manifesto. You know who has won the election. Keep that manifesto next to your bedside table on your desk at the office with a checklist, and write letters, be involved, take part in consultations. It is our country. Don't just throw your hands up and say, well, okay, now I give everything over to you.
Right.
Politics is the business of the people. And if you want to join the movement and to assist in governing the country through civil society engagement, again, ourpartwith2ts.org. We're here to assist and to really build a better, more inclusive Trinidad and Tobago with an aspirational, inspirational vision that we can all buy into.
Yeah, Rudolph, thank you very much for coming this morning, and thank you for the work that you all continue to do in the communities. Thank you very much.
I wish you all the best.
All right, everybody, we are going to a very short break. We are coming back.